I'm Zellsis, and you're watching Spike Tap Channel.
I just wanted to talk to you about the pace a little bit of the game, just heading into it. A lot of people, I'm sure yourself included, expected Paper X to be extremely fast. It's kind of what they're known for, is playing chaotic. Do you feel like they felt like a little bit slowed down on the server today? And I don't mean like slow overall. They obviously still played fast. I just mean maybe like on their initial rounds and the way that they were playing in the beginning.
Uh, it's hard to say, like, in the moment, to be honest. I think they definitely played how we whether that was, like, a little bit slower or faster, I'm not really sure. I'd have to go back and watch it. But, I mean, it felt like they were still, like, Paper X to me. They, did really dry walkarounds on certain maps and, like, really fast opens into, like, really fast hits. But I would have to go back and watch the VOD, but I think they kinda played to, like, what we expected.
For sure. You are far and away in the world the leader of people killing people with classic. I wanted to ask you, obviously you just play the game a lot, but is there like an actual reason you're so good with the classic, or you just are?
I think when I first switched to Valorant, I only used the classic because I just thought like having armor plus a piece of utility plus the classic I thought was like broken enough to use to get armor, and having that extra like 25 health I think is like really big. Um so I have always played with the classic. I have a lot of time with it. It's kind of like my trusty. Like I don't really like it doesn't really fail me. I don't really feel like I fail it, like, we have that kind of relationship type vibe. So I guess it's just, like, I've just played with it, like, a ton, and, like, I mean, now that we have, like, a gun skin in it, it gives me even more of a buff to, like, use it. So I guess that's, like, my answer.
For sure, yeah, you're just comfortable with it. Makes sense. I mean, yeah, but you are far and away like the kill leader. Yeah, so Ascent looked much better today. Overall, obviously you had a short prep time. And you obviously have continued to have a short prep time between matches, but was this like a focus of yours to improve on Ascent between games?
I feel like for us, we're very comfortable on, like, every map, to be honest. It's just, like, what kind of Sentinels wants to show up that day for certain maps. It's kinda weird to explain, but it's like, as you can see, we shown that, like, we're a really good split team, and then our last 2 series, we kinda fumbled it. And then obviously we shown that, like, we dominant on Lotus and dominant on Ascent. So it's kind of weird vibe, to be honest, and hard to kind of explain, where I feel like depending on what Sentinel shows up that day will depend on, like, what maps we're good on. And I think for us, like, we're just good on all the maps, to be honest. Like, we've played a little bit of everything. We've dove into a little bit of everything. So I think it just comes down to like how we feel that day, what kind of sentinel shows up that day, and then obviously how vetoes go as well, or like per based on team as well. Some teams prefer other maps, other teams prefer other maps. Kind of gave a bad explanation. I'm sorry, but
No, that makes
I'd say
sense.
it's kind of how we show up that day.
Yeah, no, for sure. That does make sense. Actually helps me with my next question, which I was going to go into is you everybody looked a little bit more frustrated yesterday than normal. Obviously, everybody's frustrated after a loss, but it did feel like you were a little bit more upset than normal yesterday. But your mental was insanely strong today. You even bounced back immediately after having a pretty rough loss on your map pick. So I just wanted to ask, kind of like, how do you keep your spirit high? And I guess it's like a two-parter question, because the coach of PRX said yesterday as well that he thinks that you Zellsis personally keep emotions high in the team. It's like, do you think that's true? Or are you kind of like that centerpiece that keeps everybody positive? And what do you do to stay positive, especially like, it's international, you're on, everything's on the line, and you lost on your map pick?
I'm definitely a high spirit guy. I think today I think yesterday was more so kind of like a team nerve thing. I think we were kind of like fatigued. We haven't lost a match in a while, so we were kind of just like cruising, which is very bad. It's very complacent, especially so deep in the tournament when the match is so important. And I was pretty pissed off yesterday. Not just at the guys, but myself as well. Like I didn't play perfect either yesterday. So after the loss, like we went back to the hotel, and I kinda, like, yelled at everyone. Like, I was very disappointed in us as a team, like, our comms, our energy, everything, and, like, no one was, like, helping each other. It just kinda felt like we played as 5 individuals, which has been a main focus for me when I joined these guys, was that we were gonna be 1 individual. So I think we kind of, like, realized that, like, we need to wake back up, and, like, we showed that today as well. And I think I'm just gonna keep doing that. Like, there's times where I think my energy is a little too much for the guys, and I need to learn when to reel it back in and just let them kind of play and focus and let them carry me. And then there's times where I think they need kind of a little bit of a kick in the butt and kind of an energy boost when the vibes are down. It's still a learning experience process for me. I'm learning these guys still. And I think that's like a big thing on my shoulders, not theirs. Like that's a me thing. So I just need to keep being like a better leader for them. And I think that'll be like our biggest obstacle because these guys are talented. They can shoot their gun. They're very good players. Like two of them have championships under their belt. So I just got to give them their space and let them do what they do best.
Yeah, for sure. That seems like a common like phrase actually. That's like you're the third person in your team that's mentioned the wake up thing. Ten's mentioned it as well. John QT on Twitter mentioned like yeah, he said the exact same thing. You're not the SEN, you know. Obviously you guys are pretty good at waking up. You've done it consistently, but like what puts you to sleep? Like what causes that disconnect, do you think?
Um, for me, I'm not really sure. I would like to think that I don't really come like asleep, if that makes sense, to matches. I'm kind of always like trying to be high spirited, even if I have to like fake it, or like high energy, even if I have to fake it, or like the least you can do is calm in my head. So my aim's not always there, but everything else is. And obviously everyone's different. Like, some people have 100 times better aim than me, but maybe they're just lesser in comms or lesser in leadership, whatever the case may be. I think the biggest thing is like people learning themselves as a person, as an individual, getting. Maybe some people need 6 hours of sleep. Maybe some people need 10 hours of sleep. Maybe some people need 12. Like I think everyone's different. It comes down to eating, sleeping, resting. Like obviously, this Sentinels team has been going very hard since the off season. We've played a lot of rounds. We've played a lot of matches, a lot of hours of Valorant, even off the tournament um thing. Like we've been scrimming a ton as well. Like I think when we won Africa, we came back and we only had I think like a week off, and then we went back into like 5 scrims and did a ton of prep and everything like that. We had some visa issues and other team issues and stuff like that. So we've just been going really hard, and I think like sometimes fatigue catches up to us. So it takes maybe losing a series or losing a map to be like, holy shit, like we're still here, like we need to wake up and play. And I think that's kind of like what's happening.
Awesome, dude. It's like you're. It's actually like you're reading my notes off Discord. My next two questions were going to be about the off season and your prep and burning out. So I really appreciate that answer. It's really great. Um, yeah, I just have a couple more things. I guess you're looking ahead to Gen.G. Obviously, it's a rematch. You've played them. You know what they feel like. They're good shooters. I'm not going to get into that. I just want to ask, like, what do you think is the biggest difference between your previous series and your next series? Like, is it just you're back? Like, Sentinels are going to play like the real Sentinels tomorrow, or do you have like an extra strat for them? Obviously, I don't want you to get into it, but yeah,
I definitely think you're going to see a more awake Sentinels tomorrow out the gate. I think yesterday was not. I'm not going to say a fluke. Like Gen.G is a really good team. They play really structured. They kind of play like Paper X, but more like upgraded. I think we kind of just have to bring in the same mentality we did today. Like we had a big argument last night, a big fight, as I said before in this interview. And I think people kind of like re-woken up again, and now we're like kind of here to play. It sucks that we had to lose the upper final series, and then they get such a big advantage in finals. But I think like no matter what the maps are, no matter what happens, like we're gonna be good. We're gonna be a good team. We're gonna go in, be Sentinels, have fun. Come out swinging, not be scared. So I think we just need the same mentality today, and I think it'll still be a brawl tomorrow, but hopefully we'll have an easier time than we did in our first series against them. I still think it was still. I know the scores weren't very close on first and third map, but in our heads it felt like some of the rounds could have went either way. So I think it was a lot closer than people think. And I think we just have to bring that tomorrow, and we'll be fine.
for sure. Do you think now that I mean we're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4 for Pacific and Americas placement wise at this event? Do you think this solidifies Pacific as the best region right now? Or sorry, the second best region, obviously.
I mean, whoever wins tomorrow, right, is the best region.
Right.
But I think APAC has always been really good. I think it has come down to their leadership and their IGLs. To be honest, I think they've always had like really good structure. A little bit too good. That's why like I think APAC teams always like got to top four and never across that hurdle. Because of the way they play. So I'm kind of curious. Obviously, I won't be able to see now or before the match tomorrow, but I'm kind of curious like what their structure is like within their team. And I think Munchkin is their IGO. So I mean, shout out him for bringing the APAC team this far. Like obviously PRX always places really well, but they kind of play how I just said, where they kind of just run around and take fights. But Gen.G has, I think, been the first APAC team I've seen that plays like Paper Rex and kind of like old DRX, where they're very structured, but they're very wild in how they play. And I think they've kind of found the balance between that, which makes APAC a very scary region, because I think that's kind of all they were missing, to be honest.
I say bye. You say.
Buy the Sentinels bundle.
Awesome, dude. Thank you, man. Awesome.
Thank
Awesome
you.
answers.
Thank you.
Good luck for tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you, man.